Hello chess lovers, I have a fantastic game for you played by Efim against Vasily Smyslov. Geller was a Soviet world-class chess grandmaster who was also a coach to world champions Boris Spassky and Anatoly Karpov. The game was played in Moscow at 1965 candidates quarterfinal. Geller started with d4 and knight f6 by the 7th world chess champion Vasily Smyslov. c4, g6, knight c3 and d5. Smyslov goes for Gruenfeld defense. c takes d5, knight takes d5, e4, knight takes c3, b takes c3, bishop g7, bishop c4 and c5. Black is challenging white center. Knight e2. We see castling by both sides. Knight c6, bishop e3, queen c7, rook c1 and rook d8. With his last two moves, Black begins an original counter-attacking plan, the aim of which is to blockade White's pawn center. At the same time, Black intensifies the pressure on d4 square and is ready to meet f4 with f5. Here comes f4, but Black is not hurrying to play f5. Here comes e6. According to Geller, Smyslov played e6 incidentally, almost without thinking, and it became clear for Geller that he did not sense the danger. Usually, Black is playing bishop g4, but instead we see e6. Here comes king h1, a prophylactic move by Geller, though playing at once f5 is also possible. But he first plays king h1 and b6. Actually, this is a loss of time. A better move was playing knight a5, which is more active if bishop d3 then f5. But instead, after king h1 we see b6, and here white is playing f5. Here we go, knight a5. Well, if I move like e takes f5, then white can play bishop g5 first. If rook f8, only then capture on f5. If bishop takes f5, then knight g3. And if bishop c8, then queen f3. White is using the opened f file to put pressure on Black's camp. If bishop b7, then knight e4, and white has a strong attack. Let's go back, but after f5, Smyslov decided to play knight a5. Bishop d3, e takes f5, e takes f5, bishop b7, queen d2. At some point this bishop can jump to h6 square, rook e8, knight g3, queen c6 and rook f2, both overprotecting the g2 square and also planning to double up the rooks on f file. And it was in here that Smyslov made a mistake and played rook d8. A better move was playing queen d6. The idea is that if bishop h6, then after bishop takes h6, queen takes h6, Black can play queen f8, defending her husband. But instead, after rook f2, we see rook d8. Here comes bishop h6 and bishop h8. Well, if I move like bishop takes h6, then this is going to be catastrophic for Black. And if queen d6, the idea is that if f6, then queen f8. But in this case, white can play knight h5, which is just crushing. If g takes h5, then f7. There are so many threats that it's over. Let's go back. After bishop h6, we see bishop h8. Here comes queen f4, rook d7. White was threatening to capture on g6 and then queen f7, checkmate. Now comes the knight, knight e4 and c4 by Smyslov. Well, this removes the tension from the center and completely frees white's hands on the king side. Here comes bishop c2, rook e7. This knight is just out of the game. Rook f1, threatening f takes g6 and then knight d6. And at the same time, this rook f1 move is very provocative, and Smyslov decided to capture on e4. Rook takes e4. But in this position, Efim Geller played one of the most amazing moves ever seen. You can pause the video and try to find his best move. Ready? The queen on f4 is under attack, but this is going to be a killer chess. Here comes f takes g6, sacrificing the queen. Now if rook takes f4, then this is simple. G takes h7 and this is a checkmate. Or after f takes g6, if queen takes g6, then simply bishop takes e4. If bishop takes e4, then queen takes f7 check, and in the end of the day, white is threatening rook f8 checkmate. Black is just forced to give up one of his bishops and it's over. White is winning. Let's go back. After f takes g6, we see f6 trying to keep close the f file. But here comes queen g5, sacrificing the queen for the second time. Again, white is exploiting the weakness of the f file. And now, of course, you can't capture because of this beautiful checkmate. After queen g5, Smyslov played queen d7, and an interesting move by Geller, king g1. The idea hidden behind this move is the following. Geller wanted to capture on f6, but after bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, h takes g6, queen takes g6 check, king h8, bishop g5, rook e6, bishop f6 check, rook takes f6. He saw that he can't capture f6 because of this back rank weakness and white could get checkmated. But actually, instead of playing bishop f6 check, he missed that he could play queen h5 check. If king g8, then bishop g6 and it's over. It's very difficult to find a good move for black. This is a hopeless position. So that was the reason of that king g1 move. Bishop g7 by Smyslov, and here comes rook takes f6. The way he's sacrificing his pieces one after another is just amazing. Rook g4, a desperate move by Smyslov. Here comes g takes h7 check, king h8. This pawn is protected by the bishop. Bishop takes g7 check, queen takes g7. And now you can pause the video and try to find Geller's next move. Ready? He made a move and Smyslov resigned. Here comes queen takes g4, sacrificing the queen for the fourth time. Of course, now black can't accept the sacrifice because after rook f8 check, rook takes f8, king g7, white is promoting his pawn to a queen, and this is a checkmate. This was truly a spectacular game played by Efim Geller. The way he was insisting on sacrificing his queen 4 times is just beyond description. I hope that you enjoyed this fantastic game. Good luck.